That injunction required terminations at the agency to be carried out only after a particularized assessment of individual employees' performance. The judge told attorneys from the Trump administration that this reduction in force thing that they tried to force through today, quote, is not going to happen in the meantime. The judge ordered the Trump administration to advise agency leadership that they need to make that clear to employees who had been informed they would be ousted. In other words, the judge is telling CFPB, not only are you not firing those people today, which you were trying to do, but you are going to tell them that they are not being fired because they all got notices from you saying they're fired as of today. You must notify them that they are not being fired. ABC News reports, quote, many of those employees sat in her courtroom Friday, and several broke into tears following the hearing. The judge in this case has also set a hearing for a week and a half from now, April 28th. She says she wants testimony from at least one Trump administration official and potentially one member of DOJ about what they tried to do here with trying to fire the whole agency. She says she's basically going to get to the bottom of whether they've violated her court order with this attempt to fire these people, which, again, they did not get away with, which she blocked, and which they now have to answer for as potentially having violated a lawful court order. Like I said, those CFPB employees are feisty. Every time there's a court hearing, they are filling the gallery. Every time there is anything going on with their agency, every single thing that they have tried to shiv that agency with, they have not only fought back, but they have shown up in person. And it matters, and it is working, and they are still there hanging on. There is no shortage of fight, in no shortage of people, for no shortage of things that Trump is doing. But one issue in particular keeps rising to the top. And it's because of the extremism of what Trump is doing specifically to immigrants. And it is just lighting up the country right now. We've been covering this all this week in particular, but it really is every day. In Washtenaw County, Michigan this week, local residents packed into a county commissioners meeting. They filled up the room. They filled up the overflow room. They filled up the hallway outside of both after the Trump administration threatened that county and demanded that that county needed to effectively inform to the Trump administration on local residents and even on county employees, presumably so people could be targeted by Trump's immigration agents. The county is showing no signs of budging on that, and the community is backing them up on it. They packed this hearing. You can see this headline in the local news in MLive here. Quote, residents make emotional pleas to support immigrants as feds demand information. Residents packed a meeting of Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners to express support for the immigrant community. Quote, we do not want you to cave from the pressure you are under. This video, you will remember this video. It is likely seared in your mind already. This was a doctoral student from Tufts University being grabbed off the street by Trump's masked agents, screaming in fear as they grabbed her hands and chained her and put her in an unmarked vehicle. Her name is Rumeysa Ozturk. She was a Fulbright scholar and a PhD student. She's here in this country on a student visa. She has been in an immigration prison in Louisiana since she was grabbed off the street by agents. But today, a federal judge ordered that she must be flown out of Louisiana. She must be flown back to New England, specifically to Vermont, so she can attend a court hearing there in person about her case. A federal judge in Vermont ordered that she must be brought back to New England by May 1st. Her hearing is May 9th. Today in Boston, a different federal judge issued an injunction that blocks Trump from deporting people to random third countries to which they have no relationship and to which no court has ordered them to be sent, at least not without giving that person a chance to make the case that they might be in danger if they were sent there. And I'm not going to read you the whole thing. I know it's my want to read court rulings at length. I'm just going to read you just a paragraph from this ruling. But this is one of those rulings you can almost feel like it might be written in all capital letters. It's not, but it has that vibe. It is making the point of this ruling very, very, very clear. Let me read to you what the judge said. Quote, defendants, meaning the Trump administration, defendants argue that the United States may send a deportable alien to a country not of their origin, not where an immigration judge has ordered, where they may be immediately tortured and killed, without providing that person any opportunity to tell the deporting authorities that they face grave danger or death because of such a deportation. All 9 sitting justices of the United States Supreme Court, the Assistant Solicitor General of the United States Congress, the Assistant Solicitor General of the United States Congress, I'm going to start again, sorry. All 9 justices of the Supreme Court of the United States, the Assistant Solicitor General of the United States, Congress, common sense, basic decency, and this court all disagree with that contention from the defendants. Now, this ruling will stop some of what Trump is trying to do in sending people to random countries they're not connected to. The class to which this ruling applies includes any non-citizen who's had a final order of removal from this country. So it's people who have gone through the immigration process and from a court received an order of removal. That, however, is not the circumstance for most of the people who the Trump administration has been shipping to El Salvador, to the lawless, bizarre, draconian forever prison there from which the U.S. government purports to not even have the power to remove people and return people that it admits it sent there by mistake. The Washington Post reported late last night that the whole basis the Trump administration has cited for why it's using that Salvadoran prison, for why it's using the Wartime Alien Enemies Act to send people to that prison, why it's using the Alien Enemies Act to deny any kind of due process at all for the people they're shipping to that prison. The Trump administration's justification for doing that is because, in their minds, what they've affirmed in saying that's why they're using that law is that they contend that the United States is at war with Venezuela. And that's the justification for Trump using that law. And that comes as a surprise, right? Did you know we were at war with Venezuela? The whole legal basis for the Trump administration claiming the right to do this in the way they've been doing it is that they say there is this criminal gang in Venezuela, this Tren de Aragua gang, and the Trump administration's contention is that gang, that criminal gang, isn't just a gang. Well, it is a gang, but they're also another thing, which gives Trump kind of magic legal powers. Their contention is that that gang has supposedly been, deployed here on orders from Venezuela's president. Like he has sent them here as a little undercover army to invade us at his command on behalf of the government of Venezuela as a way of that country waging war against our country. And so they're like an army that we're fighting against because we're at war with that country. I know it's right. That's seriously their legal rationale for what Trump has done with this El Salvadoran prison. OK, here's the Washington Post late last night. Quote, headline, U.S. intelligence contradicts Trump's justification for mass deportations. Quote, the National Intelligence Council, drawing on the acumen of the United States' 18 intelligence agencies, determined in a secret assessment early this month that the Venezuelan government is not directing an invasion of the United States by the prison gang Tren de Aragua. Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act in mid-March, proclaiming without evidence that Tren de Aragua is perpetrating an invasion of the United States at the direction of the regime of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Nevertheless, quote, the intelligence product found that the gang, quote, does not operate at the direction of Venezuela's leader. This finding builds on U.S. intelligence findings from February as well, that the gang is not controlled by Venezuela. The legal rationale for sending all these people to this prison in El Salvador appears to be a very tissue-thin fiction. But a U.S. senator just today got back from El Salvador from trying to get one of his own constituents out of that prison. And now tonight, the ACLU has been fighting in an emergency court hearing in Washington and now in an emergency application to the United States Supreme Court to try to stop Trump from what they think is yet another effort by the Trump administration tonight to prepare more planefuls of men to be shipped off to that prison. This is a legal drama, a legal emergency that has been unfolding tonight. It is unfolding now as we speak. We're going to get the latest on it and expert help to understand it. Next. Stay with us.